So this is kind of like what you can expect after about 3 months of your glutathione journey. I'm just going to be completely honest. After 90 full days, so 3 months of being on glutathione, you are probably not just going to stop like after that. I really haven't heard or seen where anyone just did it for 3 months and then they were like, oh yay, I'm at my goal. Just being completely honest with you, if you look online, it'll say like that's when you'll start to see the most noticeable results. And like, while that is true for me, I just noticed, and this happened the first time I started glutathione, and this happened the second time when I got off of glutathione and then I restarted it after like 6 months. But basically it's like around that time you just like feel more conviction. Like you can just really see like the new skin underneath trying to peek through, but it in no way was like, oh yay, I'm at my goal, or like you're not gonna be like all one color. Or if you notice certain areas are lightening, you'll notice others like need to catch up. Usually when you're lightening, it goes quickly, like from your fingers and your hands and your feet. Like you'll see it happen there, but then like getting to like thighs and like especially like stomach, for some reason that takes longer. I don't know, but yeah, extremities going up, you'll notice it start to lighten faster. And so it just depends on each person. So I just don't want to mislead anyone. So for me, I thought if you have like an event to go to, like let's say you want to go to a wedding, you want to look your best, and you know, this is what you want, so you start like 3 months out. I highly doubt that by the end of those 3 months, you're going to be like, oh yay, like this is exactly what I wanted. Like you're still gonna probably have some work to do. So just keep that in mind. This is kind of a slow process. I mean, it's worth it. It's something like, I feel like it's addicting, because like once you start to really see things start to change, like you'll get really excited about it, because it's just like a new you. Especially if it's something like you've never seen yourself look like that. It would be like you dyeing your hair for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, I actually like this new me. So it's really exciting, but I don't think you're gonna like see your final results within the 3-month period. It doesn't mean that this milestone isn't important. I mean, honestly, it is. What I see and what I've done myself is around the 3-month mark, that's when I start either adjusting like my dosage, or I'm adding on new supplements. It's very unheard of for you to start your regimen like in month 1 and to stick with that same regimen. For most of us, during those first 3 months, we're playing around with the dosages, so you might end up taking more, you might start scaling back on certain things. There might have been some supplements you were taking, like maybe you were doing evening primrose and then now you want to start something else, or you just might keep on adding on more supplements to help you boost up your glutathione levels. But usually what you start out with is not what you end with, and just look at the 3-month mark as a milestone. But it just depends. Like if you're just trying to remove like a superficial tan, then 100% I think you would definitely get to your goal. But you know, if you're trying to go down like a shader or whatnot, you might notice that in certain areas it worked, but in other areas they need a little bit more time to catch up with the others. It'll happen. That's the great thing about glutathione, like when it's getting in your bloodstream. So when you're doing the rectal syringes, or you're trying to do like a nebulizer or liposomal or acetyl, it will change everything. It's just, you have to understand that some areas will lighten quicker than others, and sadly that's just how it is. I also forgot to mention in the other video the what to expect after 1 month, or during that first month. You're gonna feel like a little bit thirsty. For some reason, something happens, I think, when your glutathione, like, because when you're taking rectal syringes and when you're doing liposomal glutathione, you'll notice like it's going to increase the amount of bile that you make, and so you might feel gassy, whatnot. But that like will absorb a lot of water, so you're going to definitely have to up your water intake. Please do so. It'll help everything work more, you know, efficiently and quicker. So make sure that you're getting plenty of water. If you're also doing MSM at the same time, you're going to want to take even more water than you normally would, because that will definitely kind of just zap you of water. It can dehydrate you, and in the worst way, like in a way where you'll get like migraines or something. So you definitely have to be careful with MSM. MSM is kind of like a pain in the butt. I love the results, but it just isn't for everyone. So try not to talk too much about MSM right now because this is a glutathione 3-month update type video, like what you will notice during those 3 months. So you're definitely going to notice things start happening. Will you feel like you're at, you know, the end of your journey? Probably not, and that's just me being honest. It does take some time, but the 3-month mark is a great way to kind of reassess where you're going, what supplements you're using, if they're actually working, if they're actually worth it. I do recommend, and I've noticed this with myself, before you cut out a supplement completely, so like if let's say you're taking something, well, if you're in a country where you can take an AC, but if you're taking something like milk thistle, I would scale back slightly. So don't just stop it cold turkey. If you think that you want to stop taking something and switch to something else, I would say cut it back and start to see what changes, because sometimes I would cut out supplements that I was taking because I felt like, oh, this isn't really making that big of a change, and then a couple weeks later, like, it definitely was. Like, I end up getting back on it because it's like I get worse off. Like, once I'm off of it, either things start to plateau, or I was making like great speed as far as like changes, and like I just didn't know it. Like, I couldn't see it until I stopped, and then once I stopped, I was like, okay, that was doing more good than I thought it was. So with these things, I would just scale it back, and you'll notice your body, like, if you start to change for the worse, then you can just up it back up, and then you know exactly, okay, which supplement was helping, what was it doing. So don't just stop all at once with certain things, and definitely don't like try to stop 2 supplements at once, because then if you do start to have changes that like you're not happy with, or you want to go back to how things were before, you won't know which one was doing all the work. So that's just something I noticed, because like obviously no one wants to take like 7 to 8 different supplements a day, so I understand it, because I mean it's a lot of stuff between the vitamin C, which you have to take the vitamin C, so you have to take the vitamin C, you have to take the glutathione, but if you're also taking MSM, milk thistle, NAC, vitamin D, if you're taking zinc, magnesium, and just evening primrose, like if you're taking all these other things, you could be taking pycnogenol with it, you could be doing a broccoli extract, like these things add up. So I see why people try to, you know, cut out some things. Oh, hyaluronic acid, if you can take all of those, then that's wonderful. But just before you cut out anything, definitely scale back on the dose, because a lot of times I would notice that something I was taking that I thought really wasn't affecting me was actually doing something after all. Month 3, I feel like you'll feel like time went by really quickly, but like not at all, just because your daily routine is going to look so different than what it was when you first started. The more you do this, the more you're able to adjust. Maybe you'll learn about new supplements, and so your routine is probably going to look just a lot different than it was on day 1, and hopefully that is for the best. But you know, throughout time, you'll notice that you'll just start to tweak things, and maybe you started off with doing like liposomal glutathione and you want to switch to rectal, or maybe you want to switch from rectal to doing some nebulizer treatment. Like, it's okay, and I think it's natural to get kind of bored with what you've been doing, and a lot of this is just trial and error. So for some people, they get much quicker results than others, because everyone's regimen is a little different. Now, where you will see a big difference is after that like 6-month mark. It's pretty normal for people to want to transition at the 6-month mark into like a maintenance regimen. So from actively trying to lighten, they'll just like go to, okay, I like this color, I want to maintain this color, and so that's where you like scale back drastically on what you're taking. Some people can get away with even just taking glutathione like every other day. It just depends. Now for the 3-month, I guess I should throw this in here, because we weren't talking about topicals, which you're probably also using a topical. If you are using aggressive topicals, then that changes everything. Then yes, by 3 months, if you're also using aggressive topicals, you just might actually hit your goal. It just depends on the type of topicals you're using. If you're using something that you can kind of like use, I want to say like routinely, so it doesn't cause you like a lot of peeling or anything. So if you're just doing like a kojic acid soap, or if you're doing like a lactic acid or something like that, like 20%, then you know it's going to help speed up things. But if you're using like something that's just like slam packed with different things, so it's like a lactic acid, and also has AHA and it has kojic acid, and it's just like one of those, then obviously that's gonna increase your changes. If you're using a topical that people would use by itself and like it's that fast acting, then yeah, I mean certainly by 3 months you're going to have better results than someone who was not using something that was so aggressive. So I guess I should throw that in there. But usually those products that are supposed to get you fast results, like they usually have a pretty decent price tag too. So if you're on a budget, then you could see why some people either do one or the other. They either do a very aggressive topical regimen, or they do a very aggressive glutathione regimen, or you split that in half and you just do a sort of okay glutathione regimen. So sort of okay for me would be like under 4,000 milligrams. You know, that's gonna obviously get you slower results, but it's gonna get you results. It'll just take longer. And you know, it just really depends on your resources and the money that you want to spend.